got to be discerning. There's a judgment called upon, and we've got to be discerning. Now let me get back over to chapter 7 here, and let's move on for a little bit. We mentioned last week that we titled this message Judges. I jotted down somewhere. I can't remember. Judges, Pilgrims, Trees, and Builders. Judges, Pilgrims, Trees, and Builders. And so we're going to move on a little bit more. Now we're still talking about judges. We probably won't get to the Pilgrims till next time probably. But we'll move on down to verse. Like I said, we want to break it on down. Move on down to verse 7. Again, and of course, this is Jesus teaching, and we're just trying to again break down some of what he's saying here. He's the master teacher. I really can't teach any better than him, but we can try to read, to dig into, and pull out some deeper thoughts that he was conveying in what he said. If that's possible, we want to do that anyway. Verse 7, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asks receives, he that seeks finds, and to him that knocks it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you whom if his son asks bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks a fish, will he give him a serpent or a snake? Eva, you had a snake crawl around your house yesterday. You didn't ask for a fish, did you? So, if you then being evil, verse 11. If you then being evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good gifts to them that ask him? Wherefore all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Now, this statement by Jesus on prayer. Some have said, well, this is out of place. It's not. Again, there is context here. It's not out of place, as some have assumed. But it is the Christian alternative to judging. It's the Christian alternative to the type of judgment he covered in the first 5 verses. It's the Christian alternative to that. If we would sincerely pray for those whom we're prone to criticize, I've been guilty, you've been guilty, we've all been guilty. Let's go ahead and fess up now. We've all been guilty of this. But if we would pray for them that we're so prone to criticize many times, we would ultimately do them much more good. We would do them much more good. Now, the 3 imperatives here, of course, ask, seek, and knock, are in the original, in the present tense, which suggests that both perseverance and frequent prayer is called for here. That Jesus calls for perseverance in our prayer and for frequent prayer. Now, in the English language, the first letter of each word forms the acronym ASK. Ask, A, seek, S, K, knock. Ask. Now, fervent and continual prayer is to be made on behalf of those for whom we are concerned. I've had people to tell me before, well, I just don't believe that we have to just spend all of our time praying and keep praying over and over and over for the same thing. There are some things that may apply to, but basically overall, the basic teaching of the Word of God is to remain in constant prayer. Paul said, pray without ceasing. Jesus here says, ask, seek, and knock, and that's in the present tense. In other words, the translation is like this. He says, keep on asking. He says, keep on asking, it will be given to you. Keep on seeking, and you will find it. Keep on knocking, and that means knocking reverently. Keep on knocking, he says, and the door will be open to you. So, we have to continually be steadfast in prayer, fervent prayer, continual prayer. Now, if we ask for wisdom, as it regards the settling of disputes, as well as for anything else that lines up with the Word of God, he says, it shall be given. The qualifying factor there, that Jesus is always talking in regards to what is in line with the direct Word and will of God. That's where the church has gotten off the beaten path too many times. The church so many years has taken this to mean, well, I can just ask anything I want and God's going to give it to me. Like God's some big Santa Claus in the sky. That's not the way it works. He says, according to his will in several places. It's always, and it should be understood when Jesus is talking in these terms, it should be understood as long as we are praying and asking in line with what God's declared word and will are. Then certainly we will receive what we ask for. And something, listen, the answer may not be forthcoming. Therefore, we should, as he says here, seek to know the reason why. Ask, seek, knock. And it says all this is to be done reverently and consistently. Something very important I want to point out here. We need to make sure when we're knocking that it's his door we're knocking on. That's pretty deep even for me, ain't it? We need to make sure it's his door we're knocking on. You need to let that sink into your spirit a little bit. Make sure that when we're knocking on the right door. We're knocking on his door. Not the door of our wants, not the door of our desires, certainly not the door of being misled by some other spirit. We need to be making sure we're knocking on his door. Jesus said, I am the door in John. He said, I am the door. That's the door we need to be knocking on.